Hello pen friends, hope you're well. I'm going to talk today about a pen which is very well known and very well liked in the fountain pen market. And once again, I've had a couple of people ask in comments and messages about this pen. So the pen is from a brand called Sailor, who are very well known in the fountain pen market. And this one is their Pro Gear model. So most Sailor pens, in fact almost all of the Sailor pens, will come with this cardboard sleeve on the outside, and then you'll get this regular Sailor box on the inside, which is just, it's not beautiful, it's not nothing, it's not too bad. You'll get a little brochure on the inside and some product info. You will get the pen in a little sleeve and some spare cartridges. If we pull up your little tray, we'll see there is nothing under there, but it's a good place to keep your cartridges and your little brochures, of course, as well. I think it's an okay box. I don't think it's anything spectacular, but it's, for all intents and purposes, it is fine. So then you get the pen, which will come in a little sleeve, which I will open. Some of these sleeves, funnily enough, have an open end and other ones don't. And I don't really know why some do and some don't, but that's the way it is. And you'll get a little piece here, little clip on the clip as well. So now this is the regular size Pro Gear. And you might be going, geez, it looks small. And it is small. They do a Pro Gear Slim model, which is even smaller. So I think if you're buying a Sailor fountain pen, you have to be quite aware it's going to be small, because they are. And I think the first time I bought Sailor Pro Gear, I bought their Imperial Black, which is a very pretty matte black pen, and arrived and I thought, wow, that's small. And it is quite a small little pen. So something to consider. In fact, the length closed is only 129 mil. So it is quite small. The length uncapped is 116 mil. So it's, as you can see, it's tiny. If you look at the size, I've got big hands, but you can see that next to my big hands, it is quite tiny. Now, this pen has a 21 carat two-tone nib on it. Now, Sailor quite recently announced they were going to stop making the 21 carat nibs, both on their King of Pen line, which is the next size up, and their Pro Gear line, which I think is a shame because 21 carat, as far as I'm aware, is one of the highest gold contents you'll find in any pen brand. And these nibs are very well known for writing very, very well. So a bit of a shame. I believe they're dropping it down to 18 carat potentially, and they've also recently released their casual line, which are steel nibs. I've had a bit of a try of the steel nibs. To be honest, I wasn't impressed. I didn't feel like it wrote very well. I'd be happy to do a longer review of that pen as well, but today we're going to talk about the 21 carat model. These are still quite available. There are lots and lots of them around. So they are quite readily available. Now, this one doesn't come with a converter. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't really understand why or why not. I personally like to use a converter in my pen. I find, firstly, the ink flow is going to be a little bit better, and you've got such a massive variety of inks. I mean, I've got lots of inks, so it makes sense for me to use a converter over a cartridge, but I just find that you can prime the nib a little bit better and it can write a little bit better as well. Now, this one has a fine nib on it, and Sailor nibs will write very fine. If you can see that point there, it looks like quite a fine point because it is. So Sailor nibs, similar to most nibs on the Japanese market, will write quite fine. Next to your European brands, it will write quite a lot finer. So I would get at least one size up from your European counterpart. So if you like a European fine, I would at least get a Japanese medium. Whether that's Pilot, Platinum or Sailor, I would definitely go up a notch. These nibs are known to have feedback. which is not scratchiness. And it's important to know that because there is quite a big difference. So feedback gives a pencil-like feeling. It's often described on the page, feeling like you're writing with a pencil. So you can actually feel the paper through the pen and through the nib. A lot of people really like feedback. They feel like they get a little bit more traction on the page, they can write a bit better. I know there are lots of people who don't like really glassy smooth nibs because they feel they're almost a bit slippery and they can't write properly. So for those people, these nibs and these pens are excellent, and again, they're very well known and very well liked in the fountain pen market. But I think if you're going into the Sailor or the Pilot world, and you don't realize that these nibs have feedback, you might write with it and go, oh, this doesn't feel like I'm familiar with. So just be aware that they do have that bit of feedback to them. Now, aesthetically, this is again the Pro Gear model. You'll see on the top of the pen, you'll get a little Sailor logo, which I quite like. So the Pro Gear is a flat top and flat bottom pen. I quite like the flat top, flat bottom look. I think it's a nice finish over the otherwise cigar-shaped model, which they just call that the 1911. It can be quite confusing, the different Sailor pens they release, because on the Japanese websites, on the European websites, and on the Australian Pacific websites, there seems to be such a variety of different naming conventions, and it can make it very, very confusing. But from what I know, you've got 3 sizes in the Sailor range. You've got your slim model, and your 1911S, standing for slim as well, and then you go up to the regular size, which is this one, and then you go up again to the King of Pen size. So that's the 3 different sizes they do. The 1911 has the rounded top, the Pro Gear has the flat top and the flat bottom, and then the King of Pen has a variety of others. But you can get the King of Pen in a Pro Gear as well, and you can get the slim model in a Pro Gear as well. So there are quite a few different options there available. But Sailor nibs write well. They're a nice pen. I find the regular Pro Gear small. It's too small for me. It's too small and too thin. Even posted, I've had a couple of them and I never hang on to them because they're just a bit small for my hand. That being said, I've got big hands, so definitely if you like a smaller pen than me, these pens write well and they look really nice. I like the nibs and I like the performance. So, but I'll do a writing sample for you now. Please let me know thoughts, feelings and opinions in the comments, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much for watching. So I thought I would firstly talk about the different filling systems available for this pen, as I mentioned briefly earlier. So you've got the option of cartridges, or you've got a converter. Now this pen didn't come with a converter. Thankfully I've got a drawer full of little bits and I was able to find a Sailor converter. Couldn't find one with a gold trim, unfortunately. They do make these converters with both a gold and a chrome trim. Now in Sailor pens they will only fit Sailor converters. Your international converters will not fit, so just something to be aware of. So the benefit of a cartridge: they hold a little bit more ink and they will be a little bit easier to use in some ways, in that you don't need to worry about inking up the pen and potentially getting ink everywhere. You can just plug it in the back and go from there. I don't like cartridges. I would much rather use a converter. So I'll show you how these work again there. I would say they're still quite straightforward, but we will go through it together. These were just from Amazon. And although it is the wrong gold and still the chrome and the gold, it'll still work. So effectively that'll plug in the back and it will turn up and down as such to fill up your pen. So I will now grab a bottle of ink. I thought I would just use Sailor Black because the pen is Sailor. Sailor Black is actually a good black. It's a nice black. It flows really well. The saturation is going to be quite good, so I think that's quite excellent. Now the other thing I'll say, and I've said this before, and funny because I've said this to lots of people, when you buy a new pen, make sure you wash the nib. And I don't know how many times I've said it, and I'll probably say it 100 more times. With a bit of dish soap and water. I've had so many people who'll comment or say to me, "Oh, I bought a pen that doesn't write well, doesn't flow well." So yes, make sure you clean your nibs a variety of, independent of whatever pen you're planning to use. When you buy a pen, the first thing you want to do is clean the nib. So we'll put that back together and we'll do a quick fill with your Sailor Black ink. For those who are unaware, of course, of course, when you fill up your pen, you want to make sure that your piston starts all the way down and that you want to submerge the whole nib in ink. So submerge even the section as such. And we're going to turn up the piston and we will see the ink will come up as well. The first time and probably the second time as well, you'll get a little air bubble or an air pocket. Oh, that's actually unscrewing there, hang on. Second time as well, we're going to put it back down. And we'll see the third time it will fill up with ink, which is excellent. So then just make sure you've got a cleaning cloth. You want to just clean off any residue off the section and off the nib. And you're ready to go. So it is very, very easy filling up your pen with a converter over a cartridge. As mentioned, it is my preference. You're not going to get quite the same capacity, but we will now do a writing sample with your Sailor Pro Gear fountain pen. I will post this pen because otherwise it is too small for myself. So Sailor Pro Gear fountain pen. Now this of course is a fine nib. And it's a 21 carat. But don't be fooled, because just because it's 21 carat doesn't mean it's soft. There is no softness to this nib at all. It'll be very, very stiff. Not unpleasantly stiff as such, but it will be stiff. So it won't write wet, or it won't write sort of springy at all. It'll have quite a bit of stiffness to it. Now I don't know if you can hear it, but you will be able to hear it. It is a noisier nib. And it will be on the drier side too, even though we've got Sailor Black ink, which is a somewhat wet ink. It'll be on the drier side, it'll be on the finer side. It's a great nib if you're writing on lower quality paper quite regularly, or you do obviously want the ink to last a very, very long time. It'll work well. But that is the overview of the Sailor Pro Gear fountain pen today. I'd be interested to hear what you think and what you'd like me to have a look at next. Thanks again.